And welcome to the Infor F9 financial reporting session. My name is Tosh Fujita. I will be presenting the F9 reporting solution for you today. There will be a question and answer period at the end of the hour, and also there's a panel in the WebEx session where you can type in questions, so please feel free to type them in as we go along, and we'll address the questions at the very end. Just some housekeeping notes. There should be a button at the top right corner of the WebEx panel to make your screen, the WebEx session, to full screen. If you would like to view it in full screen, please press that button so that you can see the presentation in a bigger format. We'll get started right away here. Okay, for today's agenda, things that we will be covering. It's just an introduction of what F9 is in the F9 Infor financial reporting world, introduction to the product, list some of the features that's available for you to use, jump into the product in a live demonstration, and just before wrapping up, introducing some new products that were released in the last few months and on what's new and exciting, and then wrap up in the end with Q&A. So what is Infor F9? It is a Microsoft Excel-based GL financial reporting tool. So it's an easy way to create financial reports inside the familiar environment of Excel spreadsheet. And so you can apply things like colors and fonts, format the report in exactly the way you want to, use additional calculations, KPI calculations, financial ratio calculations, anything like that in the report, save those formulas of the calculations. You can attach charts and graphs to the numbers, all kinds of things you know how to do inside Excel, on top of the GL information that comes from your system, ERP system, into the Excel spreadsheet. Save as an Excel spreadsheet, and you can reuse that by changing any of the report parameters like fiscal year, fiscal month. Maybe you want to run the same report for a different department. Any GL dimension or segment or code that you have in a system, you can go and change and manipulate and reuse that report. All of the formatting, all the calculations, all of the graphs, charts, company logos embedded into the report, things like that will be retained. Another advantage of F9 is that it has what's called a business logic layer built into it. A business logic layer is the interpretation of the technical database information in the accounting systems database, ERP systems database, translate that to your language in financial reporting and accounting. So instead of having to go to this table in the database, create a join to a different database, pull these fields from these tables, apply this type of filter, so on and so on, you can just say, I want this row to have this account for this company, for this department, for this year, this month, the language that you're familiar with the accounting system and financial reporting, instead of the database doc. So that is a great way to not have to know any of the technical information in order to produce reports and also to maintain and run the reports. What it means is you in the finance and accounting department can create, maintain, and run the reports without either technical IT assistance or billable resource from external sources coming to you to assist you in creating reports or maintaining, changing reports. It's a very easy solution to use, and so it's an automation tool as well. It eliminates many of the manual tasks such as running a report elsewhere, importing the result or the output of that report into Excel, manually formatting it, adding calculations to it, and then printing it off or sending it off to somebody, and then repeating that process over and over again every time you need to recreate that report. Everything is saved inside Excel, everything is retained, so you are able to save lots of manual work. It's non-technical, as I said earlier, and because it's so easy to use, it's very flexible in being able to create the exact type of report that you want, with this column having this information, next column having exactly what you want, so on, having calculations, all kinds of good stuff. It is a very cost-effective tool. The upfront cost to purchase the software and also the services cost to implement F9 in your system environment is very low compared to many other tools. So your total cost of ownership is very low and return on investment is very quick. the ongoing cost of maintaining F9 reports and the system is much less than many other competitors out there, because you in the finance department is managing that instead of bringing somebody in from IT department or a third-party contractor to work with you. It's a proven Infor solution. It is compatible with all Infor ERPs as well as non-Infor products, so you can rest assured that it is used by thousands and thousands of customers out in the world. Okay, so what is F9? A little bit more. The company itself has been around for over 26 years, so since 1989. It's a proven product, and it's been around for a long time. It's being used by many, many people, not just organizations, but users themselves. So you may transfer from one job to another and encounter F9 at the new position, that kind of thing. So it's very prevalent in the marketplace. And it is global customer base, so not just North America, but in Asia, Australia, Africa, Europe, so on. The integration, connection to different accounting systems, over 150 GL systems or ERP systems available, including all Infor products. So whether if your ERP system is an Infor ERP system or non-Infor, F9 is available for you. Okay. So really, the end result is it's very easy to use, and it is a tool that you can use not just to produce your regular bread and butter financial reports, but also analyze information and also to build more advanced reporting systems such as business intelligence and data validation reports, dashboards, that kind of thing. You can combine general ledger information with non-general ledger information if you wish, if you have access to perhaps statistical information that's stored elsewhere, to calculate some key performance indicator calculations for your industry, maybe revenue per headcount, revenue by square footage, anything like that. As long as you have the information you need, you can combine the F9 information and other information to calculate and produce some specific reports for your reporting needs. Only thing you need to know really is the F9 key on a keyboard. That is the recalculation button in Excel, the spreadsheet application. So every time you change a parameter in the report and you want to refresh or rerun the report, press the F9 key. And a little anecdote at the bottom there, majority of companies out in the world use spreadsheets during the closing process at whatever part. A spreadsheet or Excel is a very comfortable and very powerful environment. Most people in financial reporting arena, accounting, finance, you're very good with Excel, so F9 is just an extension to that, very easy to learn and pick up how to use. Some things that F9 customers have said in the past, these are testimonials from existing F9 customers, and some of the key points are highlighted in blue there. 50% time savings in generating reports. Other things like reducing the workload, speeding up the month-end processing, saving time, that kind of thing there, from SPI Health and Safety. And finally, physician's formula, F9 saved 5 days of work to produce financial reports. So lots of benefits to producing financial reports every month. Some specific features we'll highlight today. Dynamic reporting or report design, meaning account balances you see in the F9 reports, they're dynamic. They change when you change a parameter and rerun the report. And of course, the formatting and everything is saved as an Excel spreadsheet, so you don't lose anything. You don't have to reformat anything. Ad hoc reporting, meaning creating a report from scratch on the fly. You don't have a report now, but you want to create a brand new one. Unlike many other very technical reporting tools, with F9, it's inside Excel, right? So you can just create a report using F9's wizards, or taking an existing report, changing the design of it, and it's a matter of minutes instead of scratching your head for hours on end to produce a new report. F9's drill down feature will allow you to click on an account balance in F9 report and then drill down and see breakdown of that number, so slice and dice by different GL dimensions or down to the transaction level. Budget write-back feature will allow you to take some non-actual, so budget or forecast type data that's stored only in the Excel spreadsheet, send it back to F9. So it's not back to the accounting system, but send it back to F9. F9 will store that information, and so you can do what-if analysis, comparisons of actual data, maybe budget data from the system, the accounting system as well, against these new forecasts and budget data that you may have produced inside Excel using F9. So some people find that extremely useful, especially if the accounting system is quite cumbersome in having loading the forecast and budget data into the system. Consolidation and roll-up type reporting is very easy in F9. F9 will report or pull data information from any number of companies you have in your accounting system, and things like rolling up all departments to show reports at a higher level. That type of information, type of reporting is very easy. We'll show you some of that once we get into the live demonstration. You can automate F9 reporting tasks, such as I want to run this specific income statement and save it as a PDF document and attach it as an email attachment and send it to a specific group of users. You can do things like that, automate it so that you have these tasks that you can run whenever you want to. You can run those tasks on time-driven basis as well. So you can say, okay, I want this task to occur at 3 o'clock in the morning once a week on Wednesday. You can do things like that. Okay. With the automation, it's quite important to make sure that there is role-based security built into the system, and F9 has that. So you can restrict what different recipients of the reports can see, that type of thing. Okay. There is an optional web-based reporting, so you don't want to use Excel for everybody who's looking at the reports, but you want users to be able to see the reports in the web browser. F9 has an optional web-based interface as well. Okay, so what's involved with getting F9 up to speed in your system environment? The implementation, so installation and configuration of F9 to work with your general ledger, typically for one database, so whichever the accounting system is, ballpark 3-4 days, it's just a matter of days to implement F9. Okay, and learning how to use F9, so some online training class, which is usually 4 hours for a small group of people. And also there's an optional report building workshop. So you spend time with an F9 consultant on designing and creating specific reports that you want to use on a daily basis, together with the consultant, with the expert, so that you can ask any questions and get best practices on, okay, if I want to create a report like this, what's the best way to do it? How should I set this up? So you can get up to speed with F9 very, very quickly. Just to give you some background, I don't want to say technical information, but some background information on how does F9 connect to your accounting system. Just a very quick diagram here. Hopefully it's fairly clear. Over on the left side, we have the data source, so the accounting system. And in this particular diagram, there are 4 different databases that F9 will connect to. So it may be your accounting system, specific accounting system, and you have multiple databases, perhaps each one is the production database, another one is a test database, that kind of thing, or these could be multiple different accounting systems. So your main accounting system is system 1, and you just acquired a subsidiary that's using a different accounting system, and it will take perhaps 3-4 months to absorb them into your main accounting system. During that transition period, you can actually start using F9 against the other accounting system to run reports. So you can have multiple data sources. All of the GL data that required for financial reporting will get extracted out of the system, so actual balances, budget information, transactions, things like that will be extracted out of the accounting system and put into what's called the F9 Data Mart. A Data Mart is a smaller database created from another database with a specific function or purpose, for F9 being financial reporting. So it's a very small subset of the whole accounting system database extracted and put into a financial reporting database for F9. And in the red rectangles, there's 4 different types of F9 outlined there. First one is the main one, F9 Report Writer. That is the Excel add-in that will allow you to create F9 reports, run reports, change reports. It's a full functional report writer or report designer. That's something what the folks, staff in the accounting department would use, so controller, CFO, accounting manager, financial reporting manager, financial analysts. Those types of users would typically use the report writer. A slimmed down version of F9 called Infor F9 Viewer will allow you to only run reports and drill down on numbers. So this viewer is designed for decision makers or managers, people who consume and look at reports, and if they would like the ability to run reports on their own, so change some parameters, rerun the same report for a different period, different department, anything like that, and also to analyze by clicking on a number and drilling down. Those users, those managers, decision makers could use F9 Viewer. If you don't want these recipients of the reports to run the reports on their own or analyze the information by drilling down, it's always possible to send static reports in either Excel format, PDF format, things like that, so that the recipients receive static reports. That's always available. You don't need an F9 license to do that. Okay. The final F9 version or product is Infor F9 Connect. That is a web browser version of F9, so you publish F9 reports created inside Excel to a Microsoft SharePoint portal. And if you have a Microsoft SharePoint portal set up in your organization, you can publish reports to the SharePoint server, and decision makers can log on to the portal and be able to look at reports. One thing you cannot do is you cannot drill down on numbers, so it's even more slimmed down than the F9 Viewer. Only thing you're able to do in SharePoint and through the web browser using F9 Connect is to run reports. All right, so now that we've introduced what F9 is and what it does and how it works, let's jump into Excel so that you can get a feel for what it does. And I am going to be sharing my screen. Here we go, and everybody should be able to see Excel 2013. And screen's flickering a couple of times here, so give it a second. Okay, everybody should be able to see Excel 2013 with an unfamiliar, perhaps, ribbon at the top of Excel. So this is the F9, the Financial Reporter, the Report Writer Excel add-in. It is a set of buttons that will allow you to do different things. So different ways to create reports, report wizard, doing an account inquiry and paste an F9 formula into the spreadsheet so you can expand that report. All kinds of different ways to create reports, analysis group to do things like drill down, click on a number and see a breakdown of it, creating tasks, report tasks. So I want to run this report and save it as a PDF and email it to somebody. That type of task I can create inside the task scheduler. Different ways to publish report so that you can send the report to non-F9 users or publish the report so a viewer can run the reports on their own. Those options available. Lots of different things available here. I'm going to show you a few of them in this short session together. Okay. So first thing I will do is run through and show you some of the end results. So a sample report pack to show you what's possible. And then after that, jump into a blank worksheet and create a report from scratch to prove to you that it is indeed very easy to create reports like this from scratch very quickly. Okay. First tab of this Excel worksheet. So remember, this is inside Excel. It's an Excel file, and the tab that I'm on is the financial dashboard, and it's just a very high-level view of some GL information, revenue information, net income information broken down by location, and it has the numbers shown with conditional formatting, the shading in the background of the cell here, and also charts and graphs attached to reflect the information, the numbers in the spreadsheet. And one parameter, just a single parameter available for the user to manipulate, which is the fiscal year. I can change the fiscal year. There's 2 years available in the sample company. I can change a year. Nothing has changed yet because F9. Press the F9 key on a keyboard, and as soon as I do that, the numbers refresh in this top left section here, and then charts and graphs changed as well. So every time you change a parameter, and when you want to refresh that report, press the F9 key, and then once you do that, it goes and gets the latest information and will show you in the spreadsheet, and anything you have connected, so calculations, sums, financial ratios, KPIs, that type of calculation, as well as charts and graphs, they will be refreshed as well. So that's kind of the fundamental idea. Formulas driven, and the numbers come into the spreadsheet through formulas. And cell reference for the fiscal year parameter, you can change that fiscal year, and F9 key to recalculate those formulas. It will refresh, and then whatever charts and graphs attached to those numbers, they get refreshed as well. Very easy to use, and you can design anything like this as fancy as you want using Excel and F9's functionality. Another dashboard example here, performance dashboard, which has a little bit different information, more balance sheet information in here with, again, charts of accounts and one parameter available as well. So perhaps this type of dashboard is really mainly for a high-level decision maker, perhaps. They don't really need the details, and only thing they want to manipulate and change is the year. So pretty easy. Change the parameter, press the F9 key, the report refreshes, and charts and graphs numbers, they all refresh. Other examples, very kind of straightforward report like a balance sheet. Okay, you can design that and highlight some of the other features here, which may not be obvious. Of course, colors and fonts, those are all done inside Excel. So I want the title here, and I want it to be in blue, bold font, all kinds of things. That's possible. This top left section is basically the filter criteria. Okay, so these parameters being referenced by the F9 formulas in the body of the report, and every time I change anything here, fiscal month, fiscal year, location code, okay, just roll it up to all locations. Same thing for department, I've got it rolled up here. Numbers haven't changed because why? I haven't pressed F9 yet. Press the F9 key, the report refreshes. Okay. Something as easy or obvious as having a company logo embedded in a report is possible because you probably already know how to do that in Excel. Okay. Non-F9 formulas, here's a sum formula, that's an Excel formula that most people know. You can embed those into F9 reports as well. Formatting purposes, conditional formatting in Excel, that's absolutely fine in the F9 and Excel reports. Hiding and showing different rows or columns, if you know how to do that inside Excel, of course, you can include that into F9 reports. Just quickly touching on the F9 formulas, I won't explain it as if it's a training session, but you can see here, and these are unfamiliar, perhaps, formulas if you're not an F9 user. These are F9 specific formulas, and basically, lots of cell references. Most Excel users know what cell references are. If you know what cell references are, F9 formulas are pretty straightforward. It's basically pointing to all these cells, which are parameters for the formula, and as soon as I change any of the parameters, again, going and changing a parameter, the formula will look at that cell, oh yeah, it changed from month 1 to month 3. When I calculate by pressing F9, the numbers change. So very straightforward. F9 is completely formula and cell reference driven, and there's only a handful of formulas that you will learn in the 4-hour training session. Okay. Lots and lots of different examples. The rows and columns, you define them yourself. So if I unhide a column here, a hidden column, so I unhide it, you'll see that there are lists, ranges, individual accounts listed. Those are being cell referenced by F9 formulas as well, and define what I want in each of these rows here. Columns, you can set them up exactly the way you want to, whether it's getting account balances or using Excel formulas to do calculations such as what we have in column I here. Okay? Comparing actual to budget, variance column, so on. You do the layout or the design of the report yourself in Excel where you're very comfortable, and drop in F9 formulas, use some cell references or filter criteria that you want to use, and copy the formula everywhere, and you're off and running. Very, very easy. Many, many different examples here. Here's a P&L, actual to budget type report. Trial balance is pretty straightforward. Data dump. Okay, net sales by location report. This one's interesting in that it has some non-GL statistical information included. So I'm going to point out that this row here, units sold, the number of units sold of a particular product in a location, it's not stored in the general ledger, or perhaps your system would store that. In this particular example, it was just brought in from somewhere else, and the person who designed the report or ran the report typed in the latest units sold information in here. So it can be as simple as keying some numbers in being used in F9 reports. Same thing for headcount. So headcount is not an account balance stored in the GL, but as long as you have that information, location A in Vancouver has 10 people, you can key that information in and do some calculations. So these are Excel formulas using the dollar amount came into the spreadsheet through F9, and I want to manipulate that using a statistical number that I brought in, typed into the spreadsheet, that kind of thing. So that's absolutely fine. And charts and graphs we've touched on before. This one has that too. Okay, let's see here. Let's jump into creating a report from scratch. I can keep going on with these samples, but just to show you the ease of use portion. So let me switch over to a blank worksheet, and so we can create a report from scratch. As I said earlier, when I introduced the ribbon, there's different ways to create reports. I'm going to use just one of the methods here, inquire and paste, and as the name of the button suggests, I can run an inquiry to the GL to get an account balance, and the paste portion of the name, it allows me to paste a beginning of an F9 report. So let's do that. I press the button, and I see a task pane appear. And there's different things I can manipulate here. All these drop-down lists are GL parameters available for me to manipulate. Things like how many companies am I connected to, which company do I want. I'm going to use the demo company, the F9 demo company for demo purposes. And does it have actual and budget forecast? It has actual and budget. Multiple fiscal years of information, so on. There's only a single currency in this demo database. However, F9 has capacity to support any number of currencies that you may have in your accounting system. Okay. Other parameters, which are obvious, when you're running a financial report, you probably want to know report period. I'm going to just use a calendar month here. This general ledger, the chart of accounts for this demo company, has 3 different dimensions or segments or codes. Location code, there's an asterisk to wildcard, or I can choose a specific location. And you may also notice that I have some artificial groupings here built into F9. So West group has the 2 different locations in West included, so you can do things like that, grouping of codes within F9 if you want to. I'm just going to use Atlanta here. And account code, lots of different accounts here. I'm going to use a revenue account. Again, this is a demo company. Demo company has 3 codes, location, account, department. Your GL would have some other codes in here, but okay. So I picked up one of the departments. Again, there's wildcards here, so if I want to roll things up, I can do that. To get the account balance, I just go to the bottom of the task pane and press the Get Balance button. And I have an account balance here. Is that the number I was looking for? Checking out the parameters. No, actually, I wanted to look at March. Get Balance again. Yep, that's the number I was looking for. Do I want to start creating an F9 report based on this number? Sure. Press the GL Paste button at the bottom. Screen flashes and you see what looks like the same account balance that we saw in the Get Balance field. And it is indeed an F9 formula created on the fly by F9 with all the cell references for the cells with the filter criteria that I might want to manipulate. Again, if you know cell references in Excel, it's pretty straightforward. Any of these parameters that are being referenced, if I go to those cells, F9 created these drop-down lists, lookup lists as well, so I can manipulate any of these parameters. And what do I do? To refresh, press the F9 key. As soon as I press the F9 key, the number changed. Okay, so it's pretty well set up as a beginning of an F9 report. Cell references are done. Absolute and relative cell referencing is correct. I can then, and the drop-down list, the lookup list for all the codes are built in as well, so I can then manipulate and start using this report right away. Typically, what's the workflow? What do I do next if I'm designing or creating a report from scratch? I probably want more accounts going down the rows here. Different ways to do that. I can manually key things in. Maybe not the most efficient thing. I may have an existing report with all the same rows that I want in a report. I want to create a P&L report. I have another P&L report that I can start a copy-paste row definition from. That's an idea. Or I can create a list within F9 as well. F9 has facilities to create lists of items. I can do that by using going to the F9 ribbon, pressing the F9 list button. I get the F9 list wizard appearing, and I need to make sure all the parameters are right. Yep, same company that I'm creating the report for, etc. I'm creating a list of segments of the account code, so with one of the codes. I'm going to create a list of the account segment where account is this filtering it down, narrowing it down. So do I want accounts that between 30,000 and 99999? The two period symbols in between the two account codes, that's F9 syntax for a range. So one account, dot, dot, another account, give me a range of accounts. I'm going to even make a smaller group of accounts. I'm going to just say I want accounts that start with 3. In this demo company's chart of accounts, accounts that start with 3 are revenue accounts. So I'm asking for all accounts that start with 3, all my revenue accounts. And you notice in the background here, I've got the account description in this spreadsheet already. I'm going to deselect the generate description option. Send the report, send the list to the clipboard. Done, and it's stored in my clipboard, so I can paste it normally as if I do that in Excel. There we go. Those are my Excel revenue accounts pasted into Excel. Next step, probably want to copy the description and the account balance formula down to the bottom. Okay, the descriptions and numbers haven't changed because I haven't pressed the F9 button. I'll do that now, and you see the numbers and the descriptions refresh. Okay. Fully functional report with more than one row defined. If I have a report where the rows are not specific accounts, I can use lists, ranges, wildcards to include more than one account in one row. That's no problem. You can you learn how to do that in the F9 application training session. Okay, so you can define a row with whatever accounts you want. They don't have to be in a specific range. If you need to pick and choose from a whole bunch of places, you can use lists, ranges, wildcards, combinations of those things to define the rows. So you should be able to define whatever you can imagine in the rows. Again, if I change any of these parameters and rerun the report, of course, press F9 key, the numbers refresh. Okay. Same thing for the column header here. I can change the column header. January, press F9. It reran the report for all locations rolled up, all departments rolled up for a demo company for 2014, actual balances for the home currency, January numbers here. If I wanted to put a subtotal here, I know how to do that in Excel. Go to the home ribbon, auto sum, that's the formula, great, press enter, that's the Excel sum formula, and I might want to put a name to that row. Total revenue perhaps, and then maybe change the formatting by making that bold. Easy enough to do in Excel, and maybe I want to expand this report further. Okay, so more than one column, I can do that, and numbers haven't changed. I'll press F9 now. You see that there's numbers populated in the first 3 months of the calendar year. April on are zeros. Currently, this demo company is in March. So next month in April, once revenues get booked into the GL, I open the spreadsheet, press F9, these numbers will populate. Okay? Really easy to create a report, save it, reuse it over and over again. Okay? To change a design of the report is really easy as well. So I'm going to start modifying a little bit. So I'm going to delete some columns. And I'm going to, instead of comparing months in the report, I want to compare actual to budget. So I want to change the fundamental design of this report here. I'm going to start dragging and dropping and moving things around. So I move the column header for the month to the top left corner. This is basically the filter section of the report. And I'm going to just put a quick label here. report month, and then because I want to compare actual to budget, I'm going to drag and move the balance type, the name of the balance, actual or budget, that cell as the column header to column E on top of the account balances. Okay. I want to make sure my cell references are still correct. They appear correct. I do need to adjust the absolute and relative cell referencing so that actual cell here becomes relative. I can copy the formula to a next column and the cell reference will flip. And similar idea with the report month. I don't want this cell reference to change, so I'm going to fix that. So easy enough. Go to the right cell reference, cell B9. Press the F4 key a couple of times until I get the $B $9 to fix it, and then the column header, I want to make sure that it's relative, so $7, so it's fixed on the row but not the column. Press enter, formula works fine, copy the formula down to the bottom, and then now I'm ready to copy that entire column to the right to change the column header to budget and make sure that the formula looks right. I'll make one small minor change here. After I change the formula a little bit, copy that formula down. What do? F9 key to refresh that report. Press F9. Okay, now I'm comparing actual in column E, budget in column F. Maybe I want to have a variance column next to it, and that is simply an Excel formula, one cell minus another. For example, press F9 to recalculate that column as well. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to create a report from scratch, expand it, and also modify the design of the report by taking an existing F9 report that you've been using and shuffling around different cells, column headers, filter, section, and checking the formulas, make sure the formulas are working right, copy the formulas all over the place, and save as a different version, a different report completely. Okay. So really easy to create a report from scratch. Again, these parameters here, mention it over and over again. I think everybody's starting to get it. You can change those parameters and bingo, when you press F9, the parameters, the numbers change. Okay. All right, some other things, features of F9 that we will demonstrate. I know we have only a limited time here. I'm going to show you the drill down, so switching gears and analyzing information instead of creating reports and changing reports. So on a day-to-day, maybe you have all of your financial reports, F9 reports designed and created, and you're quite happy with what you've got, and somebody pops their head in your office and say, hey, look, that specific number in my income statement, can you show me a breakdown? Okay. That's the number you're interested in. You want to slice and dice on it. It's as easy as clicking on that number and going to the F9 ribbon to press the drill down button, the lightning bolt button. When I press that, the F9 drill down window appears, and there's lots of different parameters here. You don't have to worry about them. F9 detected that there was a F9 formula that you clicked on and selected all those parameters and populated these fields for you, so you don't have to change anything here. The only thing you are interested in to analyze and drill down that number is to decide what you want to drill by. So how do you want to slice and dice that number? There's the different segments or dimensions of the GL set up. Demo company has 3, location, account, department, or you might want to drill down all the way to the transaction level. I'm going to do all of them here to show you different results. I want to drill by location code. That button next to that drop-down list, that's an electric hand drill. Press the button and you see the drill down results. So there's 3 locations made up that number, and those are the amounts, and those are the location codes and location descriptions. By account, row 11 that we're drilling on, there's only one account, so I only expect one account, and it matches, great. And departments, let's see, select the option, press the drill button. The number was made up of 2 different departments, and those are the amounts. Okay. If I want to see all of the transactions that made up that number, I select transactions and press the drill button. And I see the individual transactions that were posted to the GL, debits, credits, the net amounts, transaction description or memo attached to it. All kinds of things are there, period, balance type, so on. you can scroll through the drill down result in this screen, or if it's easier to view it in the spreadsheet, you just copy it to the clipboard by pressing the button in the bottom right corner, and then either in the same spreadsheet or chances are on a brand new worksheet, if you don't want to modify the existing report, you paste the result. This is your drill down result. You can manipulate this and analyze this further. You can add subtotals in here. You can choose to do some filtering, sorting, all kinds of things. Send this off as an email attachment to somebody who asked for this information, that kind of thing. So very easy to use. Click on an amount, an F9 formula that you're interested in, go to the F9 ribbon and drill down. Okay, before we run out of the time that we have together, I wanted to go back to the PowerPoint slide and talk about some final topics. Let's see here. I'm going to go back. Here we go, and we're back to the PowerPoint slides. I know that there's one question that somebody asked. We'll address that near the end. So let's talk about the other information. Okay, so what's new? So what's new and exciting with F9? 3 new products were released fairly recently. Report Manager is actually in process of being released. So 3 items. Infor F9 Viewer. I mentioned this already. It's a slimmed down version of F9 compared to the report writer. It will allow you to run reports and also drill down on numbers. You can't create reports. You can't modify existing reports, but you can view and run reports and drill down. With the viewer, typically you want to limit data access for some accountants, some decision makers. You may not want some people looking at specific accounts or specific companies or specific departments. You can apply role-based security on F9 reports or F9 data using F9 account security. And Report Manager is an automation tool, more robust automation tool than what's built in the report writer. You notice back in F9 inside Excel, there's the task scheduler, which allow you to create tasks for F9 reports and then perhaps schedule them. That's done on the workstation. Report Manager is a more robust tool. I'll get into that once we get to that PowerPoint slide. So the F9 Viewer, you can see the difference from the F9 Report Writer's ribbon inside Excel. It doesn't have as many buttons. There's no options to create reports. Only thing you're able to do, or the decision maker or the F9 Viewer is able to do, is to recalculate or run the report, drill down on the balances level or drill down on the transaction detail level. Some formatting options like zero suppressing, that kind of thing, so hide zero balance rows, and some administrative tasks that the IT team may need to do, like moving license from one PC to another, can be done from the workstation. Okay? So it's just a way to enable the decision makers to run reports on their own so that they don't come to the accounting team every time they need to analyze and look at reports. All right, so really we hear this often, right? The challenge is there's dependency on the accounting department, and the accounting department is busy to produce reports as frequently as the decision makers want. So to streamline and speed up the reporting and the decision-making process, the F9 Viewer should be able to help you with that. It will enable the decision makers to run reports on their own and analyze the information. It also offloads some of the work from the accounting team who previously had to produce these reports every time somebody wanted to see a different report or outside of the regular reporting schedule. So F9 Viewer will allow you to empower users with that feature. Quick difference, if you are an existing F9 user, or if you want to know the difference between the full-blown F9 report writer and the viewer, you see this matrix here. You can run report. There's one mistake. I apologize for that. I noticed that it says that the viewer can create, modify report. You cannot in viewer. I don't know why that's there. That's a mistake. Report writer can do everything, run reports, create, modify, design, drill down, etc. So 2 things that the viewer can do: run reports, drill down. That first point is a mistake. I apologize. Account security goes hand in hand with the viewer. You want to restrict access to the data, so role-based security is useful. For example, you may have one manager who should only see his division 001 and should not be able to see division 002, so on. You can limit the data access for manager A to see only his division's information. Another example, you may have more granular restrictions. You have a specific sales manager who is responsible for revenue but not expenses. You don't want that manager to see the expense accounts for his department. You can restrict data access that way. So very granular all the way down to the account level. Okay, lots of features information. I won't go line by line to explain them. Basically, it's the F9 security is centralized on the F9 server, and you have a very granular control over almost everything, data access, even down to account level, also down to the user level instead of groups. If you want to use specific users, restrict access by user. You can control access for years, different balances. Somebody can see actuals but not budget. One currency versus another. Somebody can run reports and see information out of the system but cannot do budget write back. That's an option. All kinds of different things. There's F9 login involved, so when you start F9 reports, you log into the application. Okay, so the next new product, Infor F9 Report Manager, I mentioned earlier, it is an automation tool, much like the scheduler that is a part of the F9 Report Writer, but it's more robust. It's server-based, it does more, and some of the key things I will point out in the next slide here, but really you can take an Excel F9 report and schedule the report to calculate on time-driven basis, also change filter criteria, so you can change parameters. I want to run the report with this department plugged into the report, produce the report, distribute it. I want a different department plugged in, run the report, distribute it. I want to do all kinds of different combinations of codes in the reports. You can have one template report and plug in different codes using tree type hierarchies and automate that process using the F9 Report Manager. Okay, so what are we solving with this? The challenge really is it's a lot of work to run and distribute a large number and combinations of the same report. So I've got a P&L that I have to run for 50 different departments and send out those variations to different people. And also I want to use a tree type hierarchy. These departments should be grouped together, and I want to run the report with the group as well as individual codes, distribute them in a specific way, that type of automation. The combinations get very extensive, and this is a way to use one template report, being able to plug in different codes to run different scenarios or different iterations of the same report and distribute them or save them or do anything you want with them. Okay? Really, it saves time in the accounting department, people who are producing the reports. Also, decision makers get the information that they want quicker because it's automated. End result, quicker decision-making process. Okay, some features listed. Mentioned trees and hierarchies already, so you can create groups and a different tree type hierarchy structure and plug in different codes using this report manager tool. You can filter on different criteria, of course. Running reports is obviously available, but compared to the scheduler, the difference is that you can select a specific worksheet or a specific tab in a workbook and run that specific tab or worksheet and distribute it, that kind of thing, instead of the entire workbook all in one shot. You can have specific tabs in specific files. Also, you can take an entire directory where there's multiple F9 reports stored and say, I want to run all these reports with these different types of scenarios and blast them out. Okay? Different file formats, PDF, Excel format, HTML. You can publish the reports so that F9 Viewer can run them, that kind of thing. Lots of different methods and things like integration to upload reports to FTP sites, the F9 Connect SharePoint server, email attachment I've already mentioned, F9 Viewer already I've already mentioned. Email integration to your corporate email system, no problem. Password protecting worksheets and workbooks is possible with it, and you can throw passwords at different worksheets and workbooks that are protected already through this automation tool, so you don't have to be there to type in passwords to open files and things like that. Okay. Some differences listed. This grid or matrix should be correct because I know so because I just created it just recently. So lots of differences. The scheduler is similar. It's workstation based, but it doesn't do as much. It's not as powerful as this report manager that typically sits on the F9 server. Okay? So lots of different functionality there, and great automation tool. Many customers have asked for that. To wrap up, we have a few minutes left for Q&A, but before we jump into the Q&A, just having that slide there, proven track record. F9's been around for 26 years, and it's being used by thousands of Infor and non-Infor customers out there for their financial reporting need. Really, for the verticals, industries, if you have a general ledger, if you need to run a balance sheet, P&L, financial reports out of the GL, F9 is very capable of addressing many different verticals' needs, and really industry agnostic is a typical phrase that we like to use. Of course, if your specific industry has specific reporting needs, because F9 is flexible enough and it's an Excel-based, you will be able to leverage that ease of use and be able to comply with the reporting requirements that you have. It's non-technical, so you can streamline and speed up the decision-making process. People involved in producing and distributing and using F9 reports is not technical. So there's some IT involvement at the time of the implementation, but day-to-day, typically, it's managed by the finance team and the decision makers. Okay? Low total cost of ownership and quick return on investment, upfront costs for software purchase, and to implement F9 and get trained on F9 is very low compared to many other tools in the marketplace, and so you will pay less and get a quicker return on the investment. For more information, please feel free to contact your Infor account manager or an Infor partner if you have a specific Infor partner you work with. Alternatively, email us at sales@f9.com or visit our website www.infor.com/F9. So there's product information from that section of the Infor website. Okay, so now that we've come to the end of the session, let's take a look at the questions that you have submitted to us. I'm looking at one question. Does the drill down only drill into the GL? Can it drill instead into the subledgers, for example? F9 is a GL reporting tool primarily, so the drill down will be to the GL transaction level only. It will not go to the subledger level after that. That said, some additional information on this. If you are posting transactions to the GL in detail, it's not summarized, but it's posted in detail, and you have the detail that you need in the GL, then you will be able to see the information you need. Many systems will allow you to post in detail if you need to look at the detail from the subledgers in the GL. So if there's that capability and the transaction record in the GL contains the information you need, whether it's a vendor ID, anything like that from the subledger, you'll be able to see that information. And another point on this, if you want to report from a non-GL part of your ERP system, we have evaluated whatever that data source might be and built custom integrations for specific customers. So never say never. Let us know exactly what you want to report on. If it's possible, we will give you an idea of what the effort is required and be able to connect F9 to other sections of your system for you. Next question was, what does that command ribbon for viewer look like? I believe we touched that after that question was asked to show you a quick screenshot of the viewer panel or the ribbon. It's basically slimmed down version. It doesn't have as many buttons you can press. Buttons to create reports are not there, but just to run reports and to drill down and some formatting things like zero suppress. Okay, can you suppress a row? I didn't show you that in the example, but yes, if there are zero balance rows in the report, in F9 ribbon, there is a zero balance button that you can use to suppress rows, and also you can suppress columns as well if you want to. Okay, so the ability is there. Sorry, I didn't show you. We didn't have enough time. On a drill down report, can the full drill down for each report be run in one report with a subtotal for each account and blah, blah, blah? It's values, can you suppress the count? Okay, so drill down is going to show you a breakdown by the different dimensions in the GL. So if your GL has main account code, company code, department code, division, business units, so on, it will slice and dice by those dimensions, and it's one by one. So you can't do one drill down and then say, okay, I like that drill down result now, click on that subset of the information, drill down. You can't do that with F9, but you can select that number that you're interested in and slice and dice on specific parameters. Okay? One at a time. And it does not subtotal things for you. You can paste the drill down result into Excel and subtotal and manipulate in any way inside Excel yourself. Zero suppress again, you can zero suppress once you paste the result into the Excel spreadsheet using F9 zero suppress, but you're not able to do that inside the drill down window. Okay, I think that is the last of the questions. If there are any other questions, please quickly type into the quick Q&A panel. If there are no more questions, or if you think of a question after the fact, please follow up with and contact us again, sales@f9.com, or if you have your contact information for your Infor rep or your Infor partner, they should be able to funnel the question to the F9 team, and we should be able to answer any questions you might have. Okay, I think there are no more questions coming into the Q&A panel, so this is the end of the F9 Financial Reporter presentation. Thanks everybody for joining, and if you need further information, please feel free to contact us through sales@f9.com or through the Infor F9 website. Thank you very much.